Can we get a shout out for this stage? Can you believe this? There are 8,000 cables involved in making a show like this happen.
I don't give a shit about that, all right? I care about the Lord, my friends, the Lord. Lord, look at these symbols. Random symbols, you might be saying, but they're repeating all over the arena. What could they possibly mean? All over the arena and over a bunch of other stuff, I've noticed these strange symbols. That's an M, I, R, and you get the Miranda, yeah.
I can't believe it.
It all began with a blog post on April 1st, 2025. Wait, what? Oh, no, thank God. It all began with a blog post on August 30th, 2025. Valve released an innocent blog post for the International about, I don't know, streams, who gives a shit? But at the end, they give us wallpapers. Thanks. However, upon closer inspection at these thematic wallpapers, players noticed a secret. Next to each hero, strange symbols appeared, one with the same amount of symbols as letters in each hero's name. Most easily noticeable next to Puck, P-U-C-K. And so, another descent into insanity began. Look, you guys need to understand, this isn't the first secret language I've seen in Dota 2 lore. Shit, this ain't even in the top 5. I have a folder on my Google Drive labeled Don't Do It Again, where I keep my extensive notes about secret, insane languages in Dota 2 lore that I have painstakingly learned, painstakingly memorized, and these complicated, intricate symbols and languages have produced nothing. Literally zero value in knowing any of this. I mean, did you know the crazy demon shit that the demons in games say is actually decipherable? It's called Oshkosh. It's a literal language you can speak and learn if you are a freak like me. What about that cursed-ass square language that we had in Ag's Labyrinth and Nemesis? That was a fun one. We got to know that this says first of many. Great. Shout out to LboyAXGaming, who had a fantastic video decoding this, by the way. I didn't want to do it. And those are just the secret languages that actually mean anything. The runes around the Tormentor, the symbols on Invoker's Tornado on the ground, the effigies on Oracle's back, Omni Knight's robes. I don't know, that is just stuff. It lives in my brain. I can't remember my wife's birthday, but I can recall this stupid emoji-ass looking rune on the Tormentor. Great. So you must understand that when I first saw these decipherable language, it was with a mix of unbridled excitement and then extreme conditioned fear. Would this be going into this Google Drive sister folder of actually important lore, or its cursed cousin, insane forgotten bullshit? Well, prior to this, it sat firmly in the latter, for this was not actually the first time that we had seen the symbols. It all started August 12th, 2025. You see, on August 11th, Valve accidentally soft-launched the Dota 2 store for the International, which featured these mysterious symbols as well. On one side of the pullover hoodie, specifically, we could see 13 symbols on the side of the sleeve of the official International hoodie. International. It also featured 13 letters, so cross-check the bottom of the player jacket, and you get lore ipsum. Oh, hell no, that's lore ipsum. Get the shit out of here. Oh, hell no. This was my genuine reaction to decoding this myself, by the way, as I furiously shoved the decoded images into the correct dogshit Google Drive folder. Credit as well to Sickle, the Team Spirit analyst, for bringing this to light on their Telegram. However, this wasn't the first time that we had seen these symbols. It all started November 2024. Crownfall receives an update with a leak in the code. A new hero is referenced a few times, and a mysterious set of glyphs is added to the game alongside them. Yes, the same glyphs we now see on the TI merch. The heart begins to race, but soon calms, as just because they added new heroes rune language on the merch for TI, well, that doesn't mean anything. It's lore ipsum, for God's sakes. Relax. It returns to its home in the Google Drive folder. But now, it's on the official materials. It's next to the heroes on the wallpaper. Now, we can actually decipher it. Puck, Nature's Prophet, Marcy, Dark Willow, Underlord, the International. This is a pretty good list. Out of that, we're only missing the letters B, F, G, J, Q, V, X, Y, Z. Cross-reference that with the cursed lore ipsum text, and we start cooking. Starting to fill in this insane language pretty well, but I'm sure it was just used for marketing materials or flair stuff. It is what it is. Back to the folder you go, little one. But then, I arrive at the event. 1 full day before any other human in the world can see the venue. And I see the grand international stage for the first time. And there they are. This is the one. I do rehearsal, feverishly taking pictures of everything with the glyphs. For decoding, I do zero prep for the actual event. On the night 1, I stay up all night memorizing the symbols with note cards I made out of the hotel notebooks. This is it, boys. This is the one. They are finally doing an ARG again. Now, Valve has done ARGs, alternate reality games, before. My first Valve game I owned was the Orange Box, which had TF2, which had a few ARG bangers in its lifetime I participated in back in the old Spuff Steam-powered user forums, but the ARG that made most people find out what ARGs were was Portal's incredibly famous ARG that took most of the gaming community by storm at the time. Suffice it to say, Valve has quite a pedigree at these kind of things, and this, my friends, was Dota's turn. The leaked runes, the merch, the stage, it was all adding up. The time had come. The decoding could begin. So I scrambled around the venue to take as many pictures as I could of any rune I saw on any surface I saw, stopping players in the hallway to take pictures of their shirts, telling Sheever to give me her note cards as she was walking the panel with things on them so I could decode the runes, sneaking into the booth to take pictures of players' chairs. I got them all, memorized the language, and began decoding. The stage held the key to most of the missing letters, as the official stage revealed more than heroes on the wallpaper, such as Windranger, Pango, Visage's full name, and Marana. We had most of the pieces, and the deciphering could begin. Now, obviously, as the stage host of the event, I had some early access to these materials, and as like any one of the only people in the world that actually knew these symbols, gave a shit about them, and actually knew what they meant, I could have kind of griefed this shit and just released everything I immediately had, but that's cringe as fuck. So I said to myself, after decoding everything, I would wait a day to see if anyone else noticed after day 1. And then on day 2, I gave a little nudge in the morning for people to get to work. And they did. A small community of lore hunters had formed, and this is their story. Mostly. Also slightly edited for dramatic effect. August 25th, 2025. The Tyrian Plain, the creator of the Tyrian Plain lore map, discovers the letters up on the secret language in the wallpapers. His work is met with 2 thumbs up, one of which originates from Omar Z-Man, who says that they will watch TI in order to see the stage now, and the mysterious runes. The interest has become peak. Tyrian Plain links 2 Reddit threads in which multiple Redditors begin to theorize about the runes. The lore group decides that they will be the ones who decode the runes first, and that their glory will be felt by the world of Dota 2 lore for generations. But they were not alone. The Crimson Witnesses, a group of dedicated Dota fans who attend every international and make events and meetups, heard the call to action. Solvai, one of the admins of the Discord, announces the hunt. And a dedicated Crimson Witness member responds enthusiastically. The race to see who could decode it first was on. Now, this would be a good time to lay out the important members of these communities, each one of their strengths and weaknesses as the race to the runes commenced. For the Tyrian Plain, we had some of the biggest Dota 2 lore nerds in the world, all collected in one place. They know pretty much everything there is to know about Dota lore, and are actively trying to improve upon it with their own creations. Their strength was knowledge. However, their greatest lacking would be something that the Witnesses had in spades. Numbers. An entire dedicated community on site ready to hunt down any clue available. They had dedicated Dota-loving men and women on the ground ready to hunt, ready to find the runes and pool resources together on site. While the Tyrians had blurry pictures gotten from stream, the Witnesses had full access. Only one group could be the first to decode. 2:07 a.m. Decodes the player jersey, revealing to them the lore ipsum slop, while Malibu Jesus begins the first step of a rune recording page of the mysterious obelisks. Meanwhile, on the Tyrian Plain Discord, a user by the name of Little Dynamite posts a bombshell, a fully figured out alphabet out of seemingly nowhere. When asked where he produced such information, he claimed it was from somebody, and he had no idea where they got it. This mysterious benefactor, possibly the translated post from weeks ago, thanks to this Team Spirit analyst, had just unlocked the Tyrian Plane's ability to translate everything they wanted. But what they lacked were pictures on the field. Cool Cell joined the chat and was at the event, linking 14 separate images for the team to mull over. Nix, another member, now began completing a Google Sheet. Suddenly, the Tyrian Planes had a massive advantage. Meanwhile, new participants had begun to flood into the Crimson Witness Discord. Just some girl pointed out how the runes are meant to be read from top to bottom and denounced all notions that the stones were meant to be laid on top of each other. Meanwhile, new users Hezonjez and Salvali began to flood the Discord with pictures from around the arena that the cameras are unable to showcase online at this time. With these new images of the stage, signing area, and t-shirts, the Crimson Witnesses had amassed a massive group of runes to decode, but they still lacked the full alphabet, which was divulged by the Tyrian Plane's mysterious benefactor. Johnny Rotten entered the chat and had a front row seat to the stage and proposed his theory of the stage representing a clock, with a slew of unconfirmed numbers and letters to further their struggling alphabet, while others tried to use AI to translate slightly decoded messages, revealing the language to be Croatian. It was not Croatian. With the stage numbers now translated, and with other sources such as the flags sold at the secret shop and the runes, the Crimson Witnesses had finally secured the full alphabet. Immediately, the idea to sell the image as an extremely frustrating keycap set was born. While the Crimson Witnesses continued to translate things into Croatian for some reason, the Tyrian Plane were struggling to find more to translate, but their work had created some compelling results. Demon was mentioned several times in several different runes on the obelisks, with theories about semi-nonsensical letter combinations. It was all coming together until a new member that would be the key figure of the Tyrian Plane's efforts would join the Discord. Epona Mina, a dedicated lore enthusiast who was attending the event, found the Tyrian Plane Discord from a Reddit thread they had created, and she brought with her the fury of notes one would only see in an insane person's manifesto, bringing in a confirmed version of the alphabet themselves and a host of new images for the community to unravel, such as the TI hoodie, which read international. New information, new decoding could be underway. Raw materials, situation, two mysterious words that appeared a few times, Itzum and Steim. While Dr. Desmond, the other on-site member of the Tyrians, finally located the galaxy map in the secret shop, they were tricked into spending a whopping 35 euros to take that map home and solve the mystery. Other members of the Tyrian Plane were moving into a darker direction. With the confirmed alphabet in tow, Little Dammit returned with a full decoding of the runes and a way for the team to mix and match in order to fill in nonsensical words on the obelisks mixed in with the full sentences they uncovered. For the Tyrians, with their picture issue solved now by Epona, they steamed forward at a breakneck pace. The Crimsons, however, had begun to slow down, stuck on the obelisk runes and trying to figure out inconsistencies like this dreaded dot. The Crimson Witnesses had begun to diverge to believing the messages were hinting the next TI would be in Croatia. Why But then, out of nowhere, a hero appeared. Epona Mina, the same savior of the Tyrian Plane, had now discovered the Crimson Witness Discord and unveiled their schizophrenic notebook. Suddenly, the Crimsons were back up to speed, and suddenly, with Epona's traitorous help, the idea had finally come. Azbzdan. Now, back in Dota 2's first comic, Are We Heroes Yet?, it tells the tale of the demon smith Azbzdan, who forged the demon's edge from a hilt of direstone and a blade of radiant ore that he found during the shattering of the Mad Moon event. A blade so sharp, he fumbled the bag so hard, he literally killed himself by accident. What an idiot. But with demons, materials, and smith being decoded from the obelisks, the line had been a clear reference to Abidazan and his works. Only 2 hours and 30 minutes after the beginning of the hunt, the Turians had translated everything they possibly could, resulting in an incomplete message, but one that mentioned raw materials that fell, power, situation, and the demon smith. The hunt continued for more runes until some users discovered the runes on top of the players' chairs. Desperate for answers, the Turians pored over these fuzzy images until they discovered the direct translation. Ice Frog was here. Meanwhile, the Crimson Witness's long dedicated decoder posted an image that would rock both communities hours later. A simple image of the Demon's Edge. Meanwhile, the Turians' new member, Cool Seal, began mass efforts to find every single rune that both teams might have missed. Armed with napkins and a scrawled-out note, Cool Seal went where no one had ever gone before. The stairs. And the winners' ring displays. With their dedicated work and little damn it's organizing, the obelisks were officially 100% solved and arranged. That fell raw materials from the situation, power, oh Jesus, demon smith. New missions appeared randomly. Acquire a player welcome letter and a cue card from the panel, which had small, undecipherable runes. A new member appeared in the Turians' Discord as well, a literal skeleton who believed that this mystery would result in massive hero reworks. Wrong! With mentions of in-game effects and in-game repercussions, the Crimsons moved on to psychotic cross-references from within the Dota 2 client. Invoker's Tornado left runes, similar, but not the same. More insane suggestions followed until a discovery. The runes were in the TP effect from Curio's shop. Translating to but backwards, guide Zoinoids. But there was a mistake. One user mistook some runes for others. The true translation was Orion guides you. Much like Orion the Hunter, the constellation makes sense with the theme. The group regained their lost momentum after finding many questionable translations. The shirt lore ipsum was thought to be a small mistake, but the letters were also a little off. The clock had 10 and 11's positioning out of order on stage. Clockwork and Visage's names were near next to the wrong heroes, and the most disgusting of all was Wind Ranger, who actually was W random letter in the runner. A travesty, to be sure. Not to mention around the arena, Dota was listed several times, but then there was a random K that was used. Was this decoration or something more? Would putting these mistakes together yield the completion of the obelisks, or were they just goofy gaffes? The Crimson Witnesses set forth to find out. Missions began around finding the true meaning of the teleport message, with Acre Winds Guide You being in the lead for some reason. Acre meaning earthly, like Acre winds being winds that move clay earth, apparently. What the fuck is Acre? Meanwhile, on Reddit, people were putting the now shared runes into more AI, yielding "Do not disturb, return to Asgard." Literally nothing. Grok, is this real? But then, a breakthrough. Spanky, being inspired by the description of the Demon's Edge posted hours prior, simply looked at the Dota 2 wiki, where he noticed a strange similarity when reading about the Mad Moon. Demon Edge, Demon Smith, raw materials that fell. The same random words found on the obelisks around the arena. His find was given a single pog from Epona. The obelisk mystery had finally been solved. Spanky had cracked the code. It was a direct copy of the description of the Demon's Edge from the Dota 2 wiki. But wait, that's not what's in the game. The edit was made by a very mysterious user specifically on the wiki, Dota Expert 2023, who had only written this very specific phrase on this very specific page, and that's all they did on the entire wiki. Oh wait, actually no, that guy just wrote the cheese menace. And with that, the mystery and race was over. At September 12th, Little Dammit posted their final image celebrating a glorious victory for the Tyrian Plain. The Tyrians had won. Well, okay, not really. I mean, both Epona and Tyrian Plain actually went to the Crimson Discord and shared their info. The Demon Smith image came from the Crimson Witness Discord first, so in reality, they all just kind of migrated into one Discord. But they had won. Soon after, the remaining glyphs were located, with the player welcome letter reading, "Good luck, have fun," and someone who will not be named snuck into the secret labs booth and took a photo of the mouse pads the players used, reading, "Ice Frog was here again." And Nomad showed up with runes on his goddamn suit, sparking a huge amount of controversy again, until they just decoded that it said Nomad. Pretty cool, though. And with that, the mystery had ended. And then they told me, because I had absolutely no idea about any. I was hosting the event. Following this, both servers went into chaos to try to find any more information, all waiting for the hero reveal at the end of the final day, which didn't happen, and thus ended the great rune mystery of the International 2025. Yikes. So, what did we all learn from this? Well, the runes were used with a seeming purpose. Valve had enough care to make a language, both uppercase and lowercase, leave clues and messages and Easter eggs around the arena and for the advertisement leading up to the International. Again, I know as much as you guys. I don't have any insider scoops on this one. But this, friends, is a good thing. Because this time, I get to speculate. And nobody can get mad at me. So here we go. Were the runes meant for something? In my opinion, yes. I think they were, or would like to think that they were. If I had to guess, there is a connection between the runes, the Demon Smith, and the new hero. After all, the rune language was specifically added with the Bard Frog leaks found months ago during Crownfall. After all, the runes are in the game right now with the TP effect. I truly do think that this event, the prophecies, the references to old stories in the lore, have a deeper, grander meaning. It's just that, Valve probably didn't finish their shit on time. I mean, guys, let's be real here. What's more Valve than setting up this giant stage and theme and ARG all ready to make sense with a big reveal, and then they actually didn't finish the hero trailer. I mean, this is Valve we're talking about here. This is Valve time we're talking about here. It's not within the realm of insanity to think that they didn't make the trailer in time. Is this a bad thing? I don't really think so. To be quite frank with you, I think Dota 2 is in a fantastic place with the new changes Valve has made, making a focus more on normal Dota players and normal pubs, rethinking how things are distributed effort-wise of the Dota team. We have more players playing Dota right now than in a decade. Last TI was one of the best TIs I can remember game quality-wise. The stage was amazing. There was actually shit for people to do around the arena. Guys, whatever they're doing, it's working. So yeah, was I bummed there was no new hero trailer at TI? Of course so. I'm not a fucking insane person. Where the fuck is the new hero trailer? But remember Ringmaster? They put that trailer out, and then we waited like 9 goddamn months for the hero to come out, and he had absolutely nothing in common with his trailer. So what was the point of that? And maybe they just thought to themselves, why don't we release the hero trailer when we actually know what the hero does? Maybe? I don't know. So yes, I do think that this little mini ARG had a purpose, and perhaps that purpose has yet to be fulfilled. There are plenty of unused hero lines that reference a builder-type hero, an armor type of hero, and more. Will the new hero be Uzbekistan the Demon Smith, or will it be this mysterious Bard Frog? I don't know, and frankly, I don't really give a shit. What I care about is the passion of the people on the ground that saw these insane runes and decided to scribble them on napkins and run around in closed-off areas to get the answers. Guys like the Crimson Witnesses that show up to every TI and make a safe, fun place for people to hang out together. Guys like the Turian Plane lore freaks who made 90 pages of Discord discussions in the span of 24 hours just to get to the bottom of this mystery. What matters most about these events, these little ARG games, my friends, are the people and the weirdo connections that we build with each other around them. So, do I hope that Valve does something with the rune mystery of the International and it doesn't go into the Great Confluence territory? Absolutely. When will we ever know if that promise will be kept? Well, knowing Valve, when it's done, which can range from tomorrow or 6 months or never. But like all things in Dota 2 lore, I will have it in my back pocket, in the grand new Google Drive folder, between actual lore and don't do it again and literal stupid bullshit. It is simply a drive titled Hope So. See you next time.